created a crisis both in Renaissance literature and in Renaissance art. Because you see something and you know it is not real, but you see it like that. Imagine, for example, parallel lines appearing to converge in a distance. You know they will never converge, but your eyes tell you they converge. So the Renaissance writers and painters, it was a great confusion, moment of confusion. Even Shakespeare had this problem. In all Shakespeare's plays, the central idea is the gulf between appearance and reality. Things appear one way to your eyes, but reality is different. You can smile and smile, yet be a villain. Lady Macbeth tells Macbeth, look like the innocent flower, but be the serpent under it. And what happens to Othello? Iago tells him, your wife is unfaithful. And his foolish Othello has only one condition. You show me my wife unfaithful. You know how silly it was that. But Othello said, well, you show me, because I believe my eyes. I only believe my eyes. And it could be easily fabricated. Iago took Othello and showed in a distance Desdemona talking to Cassio. He did not apply his auditory faculty. He only applied his visual faculty. He thought Desdemona was unfaithful. If he had listened to the conversation, maybe the tragedy wouldn't have occurred. So much so that at the end of the play, when he is about to kill Desdemona, he has to say, put out the light and then put out the light. You know, light is so misleading. The problem with light that lights up reality for us, constructing visual reality, became very problematic in modernism. In fact, all modernist movements question the hegemony of sight, and I am going to show you that. Now this is perspective telling us things become smaller as they go back and things go bigger like that. Look at this. To parallel railway track, we know they are parallel, but your eyes tell you they meet. Now how false it is. Look at this. They tend to grow smaller and smaller the distance and they converge at one single point. Look at this building. Now this is a realist space I am speaking about, deep space between the foreground and background. You can feel the depth. And today in cinema, especially in cinema and photography, we are using the entire grammar of cinema is built on this kind of space called realist space, called a deep space. And in fact, the whole visual experience of photography developed as a result of articulating this deep space, which tells us that things grow smaller and smaller. Look at the arches, look at the pillars, they tend to grow smaller and smaller. Nothing like that happens, but this is how you see. They are trying to see it like this. Last Supper, where Da Vinci is using classical perspective, single perspective, which presupposes a vanishing point. You know, when you draw something according to perspective, there should be a vanishing point. What is vanishing point? Vanishing point is a non-existing, hypothetical, transcendental point in the distant horizon that never exists. But towards that point, all the parallel lines will converge. It's an imaginary point. It doesn't exist. If you try to touch it, it will recede back. It will recede into the background further and further. You can never touch it. But such a point is necessary to articulate reality. So our entire notion of reality is built on something that is non-existent. And modernism questions this kind of fallacy of reality or realism. And so here, the vanishing point is exactly somewhere in the middle, and Jesus Christ's head is exactly the vanishing point. And all the parallel lines from the bottom and top converge on the head of Jesus Christ. Now, maybe the kind of statement he wanted to make was, just as all the parallel lines in our field of vision converge at the vanishing point, all human experiences converge in Christ. Now, that's the converging point. And that's the vanishing point that is transcendental, not physical. Though the scene may look physical, the whole experience has been turned into a transcendental experience by Da Vinci using this particular artistic convention. Look at Tennyson, Ulysses, a line. Yet all experience is an arch wherethrough gleams the untrammeled world, whose margin fades forever and forever with the night. What is that point? What is that margin? Sheer vanishing point. Sheer vanishing point. But as human beings, we are seduced into pursuing that vanishing point, knowing very well we can never reach it. We can never reach it, but we are seduced into, going in search of that point. And Ulysses, the classic representative of modern experience, the man of knowledge, the man of, thirsty for experience and, geographical explorations and all, he knows that point can never be reached. But still, he cannot help but go there. Leaving the world to his son Telemachus, he goes in search of that unattainable experience, human dilemma. And there begins the experience of modernity. Actually began with this kind of craving to attain something, knowing very well that we can never attain that. So when you know something is impossible, and when you are driven as a human being, your impulses drive you to that, your life becomes very, very, very traumatic, and it is that experience we call existentialism. What is existential anguish? Existential trauma, existential anguish. We know life is absurd. Knowing life is absurd, we cannot go and commit suicide. We don't think of committing suicide. We have to live on. So you are engaged with life, you are committed to life. At the same time, at the core of this commitment, you know life means nothing. A tale told by an idiot, full of sound and fury, signifies nothing. But did Shakespeare commit suicide? No. Do we commit suicide? No. We are content to live, we are content to search and pursue that kind of experiences, knowing very well that it is an insatiable craving, we can never satisfy that. In fact, human predicament is that. And somehow visually it becomes very important. And Tennyson, when he speaks about the experience of Ulysses, he is actually having in mind this kind of perspectival perception of the world inscribed by a particular non-existent point in the distant horizon, which is unattainable, called the vanishing point. And come to Browning, his first major dramatic monologue, Porphyria's Love. Porphyria's Love. What is Porphyria's Love? Tell us. Here is a man who has just committed a murder. His lover, what he did was, in the dead of the night, there was a feast going on in some building, some house, and there was a lady, maybe already married, called Porphyria, we do not know the details, and her lover is waiting in the adjacent house. And finally, somehow she manages to come and join her lover, and her lover catches hold of her and makes her lie on his lap and looses her tresses hair, and with the strands of her hair, he ties it around her neck and strangles her. And the poem depicts the moment in the morning when he is still seen sitting with Porphyria on his lap, dead. So the whole poem is in the form of a monologue by this man. And what does he say? Look at this, here is my lover. She is so happy that she has finally joined me. She will never go away from me. This is what she wanted. He says, this is what she wanted. She could fulfill her love. She has become mine own. She will never go away from me. And she seems so happy. He's a raving madman, psychopath and raving mad. Maybe the police will come, and when they catch him, he will say the same thing. I was actually doing some honor for her, because she will never go away from me. What is Browning doing there? Even in My Last Letters, what is Browning doing? In articulating the thoughts of the Duke or Porphyria's lover, he is indirectly telling us more about the speaker than about the content of the speech. So here is a speaker who speaks something, apparently trying to give us some information, but a plenitude of information we get. How? We get to understand the psychology of the man who speaks. We can read between lines, and listening to him, we can get a glimpse into the psychology, criminal psychology. And most Browning's characters in dramatic monologues are mostly criminals, like the Duke in My Last Letters and Porphyria's Love. So, what is he actually doing? He is offering a perspectival picture of the whole scene. In two dimensions, we don't have a board. I have clarified that. Here is a two-dimensional picture. A two-dimensional picture which is very flat, but the moment you give perspective, it becomes three-dimensional. It becomes very concrete and three-dimensional. But in giving a perspective to a picture, there is a limitation. What is that limitation? Unless you see that, I don't know whether you get it. When you imagine, I'm just drawing a square like this. Just drawing a square like this, width and length only. It is very flat. It's just a diagram. Maybe you can do something like that. It is very flat. It is very neutral. But the moment I draw like this and give a perspective, an angle to it, you see something different. You see the third side also, so you get a concrete idea of the object. But there is a limitation. What is the limitation? You can only accept my view because it is my perspective. Because in the perspective drawing, you can only accept the perspective of the artist. You cannot imagine. Artist says, here is the way I saw it, accept it, give it, take it or not. That's the statement. So there is a limitation. Though it is very concrete and dramatic, there is a limitation. But then, without the artist's knowledge, surreptitiously the artist is revealing something more which he did not able to do. What is that? In drawing something in perspective, the artist is revealing something which originally he didn't want to disclose. What could be that? What could be? You know, in addition to the detailed information of your object, the artist discloses his own position. He tells you, this is where I sit and saw it. But he did not want to reveal that, but to come to know. So here, there is a person, a criminal who has killed his lover, who is just speaking about the romantic aspect of his love and all these things. Apparently, that's the subject matter. Okay. Apparently, he doesn't want to disclose his own attitude, but listening to his talk and additional information we get, the speaker is revealing his own standpoint, his own perspective. That's an additional information. And that's why it becomes dramatic. It becomes so dramatic. And very significantly, Browning called it dramatic monologue. A monologue is only half of a dialogue, but it becomes dramatic when, without his knowledge, the speaker reveals his own basic propensities and basics about it, which we can decode as this. It was a brilliant experiment in perspective. Look at this Porphyria's lover. Porphyria's lover. Now, what I wanted to show you was this. You have absolutely no idea how I saw it. Am I right? It's just a picture. You have absolutely no idea how I saw it. But the moment it becomes concrete, it becomes three-dimensional. So you have an additional information about the object. That is what the artist meant. I wanted to give you additional information, but then I informed you something or something else which I did not want to. Because looking at this, you come to understand where I stood when I watched it. I must have stood below that object, and I couldn't see the bottom. I must have stood on the right side, otherwise I wouldn't have seen it. And I would have stood in front of it, otherwise I wouldn't have seen it. So in front of the object, below the object, towards the right, specifically you can locate where I stood. I did not want to disclose that, but you come to know where I stood. Limitation is, I am actually dictating your vision, saying you have to see it exactly as I saw it. You have no other choice. But without my knowing, I am empowering you. I am empowering you without my knowing. What is that? What is that empowerment? When you see it like this, what are you doing? You are pushing me away and occupying my subject position and seeing it as I saw it. Am I right? So there is a kind of contradiction in this kind of realistic space. This is what cinema does. People speak about the kind of subject position of the film viewers. You are in the theater, in the anonymity of the theater, in the classical kind of theater, in the anonymity, in the darkness you sit. Every viewer is a subject, a sovereign subject. Looking at the screen, exactly as the filmmaker saw it, you can make your own judgments, you can derive your own pleasures, and that's the kind of sovereignty of gaze that cinema gives you. And realism made the viewer sovereign. In the sense, realism actually located you on the same point where the artist stood. So it was a kind of very empowering experience of the viewer, and that is why realism had its own days till the 20th century. It was a very, very hegemonic discourse in visual art and literature because it was very powerful and it was very empowering to audience and readers, because we feel, apart from the peripheral feeling of seeing reality relating to experience, it was an empowering experience also. And this is what Browning does. Only this time my shoulder bore her head which droops upon its still, the smiling, rosy little head. She is not rosy. Imagine somebody strangled, how can she be? Her lips be rosy. He imagines that. So glad that it is up to his will. She looks so glad, he says.